Hi, thanks for joining me. I'm Lori Farfaglia, host of the Arts and Entertainment Showcase here on Lakefront TV. I am in Leesburg at the Melon Patch Theater, where the Melon Patch players have been hard at work on their latest production, Death Trap. Joining me is J. Scott Berry, Denise Truscott, and Ryan Smith. Tell me about Death Trap. Who wants to start?
Oh, so they all look
at you.
Well, Death Trap is a mystery thriller, comedy with a lot of fun. And we can't tell you too much about the plot because we don't want to ruin it. But basically the story is I'm a playwright. I am a playwright who had a very successful play 18 years ago and have not had a successful play since then. Myra, Denise, plays my wife Myra. And I get a play in the mail from Cliff, which is Ryan, plays Cliff. And he was a student in one of my seminars. And he sends me a play in the mail that I think is brilliant and ready to open. And we joke about getting him to collaborate with me and maybe doing some other things to take over the play.
Wow, okay. So that's pretty good. You didn't give away too much.
No.
Ryan, are you a newcomer to the Melon Patch?
Yes, this is the first thing I've done here, so I'm excited to, work here.
How did you find the Melon Patch? I know I've interviewed Scott before, and Denise, I've heard you sing on stage before here, so I know you're not
here,
newcomer.
actually at Moonlight.
Moonlight,
This
okay,
is
I
my
knew I'd
first
heard you sing
production here.
somewhere. So how'd you find Melon Patch?
Well, I've actually performed with the director, Brendan Rogers, over at the Bay Street Players, so he brought me over here. Yeah.
What about you, Denise? How'd you end up in this play?
I knew Brendan from Moonlight. He did a few productions with my husband, and I had met him, and he told me he was going to direct the play, and people kept telling me that I need to branch out and not just do stuff at Moonlight. So I decided to come and audition.
And Scott, you're so shy. It's so hard for you to come out of your shell and join us at community
absolutely.
theater.
Absolutely. Yeah, I actually fell in love with the play when they announced it last year and read it, and then didn't think I would get to do the show. And then after the auditions, he called me and said, "Oh, the guy playing Sydney isn't going to be able to do it. Are you available?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'll change things around." Because this is such a fun show. And this cast, I mean, they're amazing. This cast is fabulous.
Now, this is a small cast, so tell me what's it like working with such a small cast? Better, worse?
Different sizes, it doesn't really matter about the size, I think, as much as it matters about the camaraderie. And we have good camaraderie, I think.
It's
We
a
get
different
along
experience.
Very well.
Yeah, and I think it enables you to develop relationships more, at least within the play.
Absolutely.
Because you interact so much with a small group of people, so.
Right. The bulk of my two scenes are with these two people right here. So we've developed really great, I mean, they can almost, of course this happens frequently, but they can almost tell when I'm going to drop a line or forget something or, because they can just tell by the look on our face. We get to know each other that well, which is fun.
Tell me about the set here. It's one of the best sets I've seen in a while here at Melon Patch. Tell me about it.
Ask Denise about the set here.
Denise, tell me about it.
Well, my husband did the original design, and David Clevenger actually stepped in and helped refine it a little. My husband did the floor, and David did a lot of the dressing. My husband made the books.
Cool.
So it's kind of a collaboration. It really
Between
came
two
together.
brilliant set people in Lake County. We are so fortunate to have Chuck Truscott and David Clevenger. They are both phenomenal. So we actually got the cream of the crop here doing this set, and it's beautiful.
Now tell me, why? I know that community theater is such a labor of love. There's so much time and energy that goes into this. How do you guys have time to fit this into your real lives?
Takes away from everything else. It really does. I mean, it takes away from your social life, but then it adds
This
because
ends up being your social
Yeah, it is, and you meet a lot of new people and you make new friends and you neglect old ones.
Right. There's a thing in theater that it's who your best friends are or whoever you're in the show with at the current time, okay? That's who your best friends are.
That's a good way to put it.
And it's rotating, and you keep in touch with them. I'm still friends with people I did shows with 20 years ago, but it's not like seeing them every day and,
Right.
There's a vulnerability to being on stage that people who haven't been on stage don't understand. There's a vulnerability that you're really, really open and have to be authentic and honest with the people you're on stage with. And that develops an immediate bond.
I would think it would be, I mean, I would think you would bond, but I would think it would be the opposite, because everybody's actors and actresses. So they're putting on their best behavior, but
hopefully if you're doing a good job as acting, you're not acting. Usually you're in the moment and you are trying to be honest as the character. I mean, you may not have experienced all the things that you're trying to portray, but you know, you still have to show the emotion of it, and that's hopefully genuine, because otherwise it doesn't look genuine.
Now, do you guys go back and YouTube, Google your roles before you play them to see what you're going to do or how somebody else has done it, or is it you?
I don't usually.
I think everybody's process is different. Mine is, I mean, this is a movie that was made back in the 70s, I think.
I saw it a long time ago.
I've never seen the movie and I won't watch it. And I don't, I mean, late at night when you can't sleep, it's really tempting to YouTube Death Trap into YouTube. I won't do it because you don't want.
You know I'm going to do it when I leave here.
Yeah, of course, but you don't want those influences. I don't. For me,
Right.
there's a lot of actors who do. They do all of the YouTubing, they do the movies, and that's how they develop their character. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's their process. My process, I want it all me.
Right.
So I don't know about the others.
You're shaking your head.
I watched it. But I didn't watch it because I was like, how do you do this? You know, let me
Right.
see how Christopher Reeve played this character, and I'm going to do it just like he did it. I just wanted to watch it and see it,
Yeah.
you know, see it done. So
I
I don't think it
hadn't
influenced me. I just watched it for entertainment. So
Well, I think that's the younger thing also. Ryan is younger than I am.
He's the
and,
baby.
And it's that age also that they can do that and not, and still be more objective than I can.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Well, thank you all for joining us. We're going to take a quick break and take a look at a little bit of the play.
Great.
thank you.
Death Trap.
Death Trap.
Death Trap. Soon it will be toasted with more than ginger ale, if Sydney is right about it, and I'm sure that he is.
I hope so. I toasted it with beer the other night.
Oh, we have some, would you rather?
No, this is fine, thanks.
Are you going to stay in here, dear?
Yes.
Do you think I overdid the set description?
The set description. Huh?
The exact locations for each piece of furniture?
No, here, have a seat. No, I think this is fine. No, it's perfect. My, you certainly type beautifully. Is it an electric typewriter?
No. I can't see electric typewriters. If there's a power failure, you can't work.
Well, that's the whole point in owning. No. Seriously though, the trouble I find with my Zenobia over there, my typewriter, is that you can't make more than one carbon copy. The second carbon copy always comes out so blurry that it's illegible. But I guess you don't have that trouble with your typewriter.
Mr. Anderson, Sydney has some wonderful ideas for improving your play.
Oh, I'm sure he does. I'm looking forward to hearing them.
Couldn't you do that in the other room, dear?
There's no good work light in there.
I seem to recall a paisley chair with the lamp next to it bright enough for the engraving of Bibles on pinheads.
It's too bright, and the chair is too low. I'll be quiet.
Darling, this is Clifford's first play, and I'm the first person to have seen it. I am certain that he would much prefer our conversation to be in private, wouldn't you? Don't be embarrassed to say so.
No, I don't mind Mrs. Brule being here. In fact, I kind of like it. It makes me feel a little less as if I've been summoned to the principal's office.
Oh, I'm sorry if I awe you.
You do. All those plays and the things you say, well, I never thought of calling my typewriter anything but Smith Corona.
As long as it answers.
You're welcome to read the play too, Mrs. Brule, if you'd like to.
I would.
I'm interested to know how women are going to react to Diane's decision about the gun.
Well, Sydney told me a little bit about the play over dinner, but he stopped at the surprises. I don't even know who kills whom.
Good. You shouldn't. That was the trouble with Murderer's Child, if you don't mind me saying so. Well, from the opening curtain, it was so obvious that Dr. Mannheim was going to bash poor Teddy. Well, you didn't leave any room for doubt. I mean, the audience should suspect, yes, but they shouldn't be absolutely certain, should they? I mean, doesn't that tend to diminish the suspense?
You may have a point about that. I wish you'd have told me on the telephone that you wanted Myra to read the script. I would have suggested bringing along another carbon copy so that she could be reading it right now.
Well, I didn't know she'd be interested. And anyway, I don't have one.
You don't have another carbon copy?
I only made the one. I thought I'd be Xeroxing the original as soon as I was through.
Oh, yes, of course. There's no need for more than one carbon in the age of Xerox, is there?
Oh, she can read this one. And we can pass the pages back and forth, or I can sit next to you.
Wait just a moment. Let me think. I want to think.
Mr. Anderson, Sydney is bursting with creative ideas about your play. I've never seen him so enthusiastic. He gets plays in mail very often. Finished plays ready for production, supposedly, from his agent, from producers, from aspiring playwrights. And usually he just laughs and sneers and makes the most disparaging comments you could possibly imagine. I know Sydney could improve your play tremendously. He could make it into a hit that would run for years and years and make more than enough money for everyone concerned.
Is that what you meant by, I'll be quiet?
I won't be quiet. I'm going to say something that's been on my mind ever since your phone conversation. It is very wrong of you to expect Sydney to give you the fruit of his years of experience, his hard-won knowledge without any quid pro quo, as if the seminar were still in session.
He offered to give me some
Well,
ideas.
and it was very wrong of you to have offered to give it to him. I'm the one in this household with my feet on the ground and my eye on the checkbook. I'm going to make a suggestion to you, Sydney, and I want you to give it your grave and thoughtful and earnest consideration. Will you do that? Will you promise to do that for me? Put aside the play you are working on. Yes, put aside your play about Helga Tindorf and how she finds murderers and keys under clothes dryers. Put it aside and help Mr. Anderson with his play. Collaborate with him. That is what I'm suggesting. That is what I think is the fair, sensible, and rational thing to do in this situation. Death Trap by Clifford Anderson and Sidney Poole. Oh, unless Mr. Anderson feels that in deference to your age and reputation, it should be the other way around.
That is a shocker. Put aside the drowning wife.
I thought it was frowning wife.
Frowning? No, what sort of title would that be? No, the drowning wife is what I'm calling it at the moment. It has all these women's lib overtones and the ESP thing. No, it's such a timely play.
Joining me now is Jan Sheldon and Hank DeLorem. Jan Sheldon is making her debut back here at the Melon Patch after 20 years of being gone. So Jan, what's it like?
It's wonderful. It's been wonderful. The theater community is a tight-knit community, so we see each other a lot all the time, but this is my first time on stage at the Melon Patch since I started Moonlight.
How'd they get you back here?
Well, Brendan has done a couple of shows at Moonlight, and I was actually on vacation for spring break from my school, and Brendan texted me and asked me if I was available. So I checked my schedule, and I was.
Good. And Hank, I have been here and seen you here many times, but I have never gotten you on the couch to talk.
That's because I'm a character actor. There aren't too many leading parts for people in my age bracket, so I just sit back and look for little roles somewhere that's a kind of a support, and hopefully it comes out all right.
But you seem to genuinely love community theater because you are here for most of the shows.
Oh yeah. I've done 46 productions in the 15 years I've been here on stage.
Wow.
Plus a few behind sit, but you know, it's just fun. I retired and I have nothing else to do.
Well, tell me what you're doing in Death Trap.
I'm the attorney in Death Trap. I talked to Sidney, who is the lead, about his estate because his wife has passed away, and just general things about it, what an attorney would do. other than that, I don't do much else.
Jan, what about you? What are you doing in the Death Trap?
I'm the psychic who is kind of the comedic relief. So I kind of come in and stir things up a little bit. That's all I'm going to say.
You don't want to give too much
I
away?
plead the fifth.
So tell me about your interesting story about community theater and you and how you ended up here. J. Scott Berry told me you had an interesting story.
Oh, how I ended up originally in community theater?
Yeah.
Oh, well, one summer I had cancer and wasn't sure if I was going to survive. And the following summer I was great, and I auditioned for a show here and I got the lead, and I had never been on stage before. Then I auditioned for another one and got the lead, and auditioned for another one and got the lead, and just fell in love with community theater. And then I went to the people in Claremont because I got tired of driving to Leesburg, and I just said, like Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland, I want to put on a show. And that was 20 years ago, and now we've got Moonlight. I never planned any of this.
And you are the founder of the Moonlight Players.
Yes.
In Claremont.
And the president.
Which is a great community theater down there.
I'm really proud of it. Yes.
So we got to borrow you for a little while and bring you back to Leesburg
yes,
for production here.
It's been wonderful. Really a wonderful reunion. And a lot of my friends are involved in the show, and Denise from Moonlight is with me, so it's just like old home week. And we have a real dressing room, because we don't have that in Moonlight. We have a dressing room, Denise and I, with a bathroom.
Oh,
we feel like we're uptown.
The little things in life.
It is the little things.
So Hank, what's it like being out front though?
Oh, I don't mind. You know, it's a little bit different, but I started here 15 years ago, and this is my home theater. I consider this, although I've done stuff in Bay Street and Ice House in the northern Lake County area, and I just like being support actor. The leads don't bother me too much, and the only one that I could really qualify for probably would be on Golden Pond with Norman Theo, who's 80-some-odd years old. And that would be right in my age bracket. So.
Do you come out for most of the shows that you hear about to audition? Or do you kind of pick and choose which ones?
The last couple of years, I've been a little more selective. I've gotten up to that stage where I'm not too crazy about doing 8 pages of dialogue. I'd rather do 3 or 4 and just sit back. But if something comes up that I'm really interested in and I think I could do it, I would go out. But nothing has struck me so far.
Is it tough to learn lines in community theater with it not being your full-time job and reading scripts all day long?
No, I don't think so. I think it just depends. I mean, you have to put a lot of effort into it, but it's worth it.
Yeah, in my case, it is a full-time job as far as I'm concerned, because I'm retired.
You're retired.
And I have the time to take and do all the reading that I do. And my wife plays opposite me at the house, and she's been on stage a couple of times here. But so it's a family thing.
I was saying the great thing about Hank is he supports all the other theaters too. He comes to a lot of my shows. He goes to Bay Street shows. He goes to Ice House shows. So he's not only wonderful on the stage, but he's also very supportive in the audience.
Thank you, my dear.
How long have you been working on Death Trap?
I don't know when they started. I came in late, so I don't know. It's been a couple. It's usually a couple of months.
Yeah. Yes, it's been a couple of months. Yeah. You started the same time we did, actually, because we didn't start before you came.
Okay.
We had a couple of.
There's usually a time read through, and then there's a time of getting your character developed. And
now, when you first come in for your very first time after you've been selected for the play, do you all sit down and do a read through? How do you get it all together to come out to be the fantastic show we see in the end?
You typically get a read through, and then the director will explain some of the things that they're bringing personally to the piece. Maybe something different than they've decided to do with the piece. It just depends on, the production.
And then it all comes together in the end?
Yep, sure does.
Jan and Hank, thank you both for joining me here on the Arts and Entertainment Showcase.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Death Trap runs May 3rd through the 19th on the weekends here at Melon Patch in Leesburg. For more information, contact the Melon Patch Theater box office. Thanks for joining us on the Arts and Entertainment Showcase.
The drowning wife is what I'm calling it at the moment. It has all these women's lib overtones and the ESP thing. No, it's such a timely play.
It'll keep, Sydney. People are always interested in psychics and their ability to point at someone and say, this man murdered that man. Put it aside, please, and do for Mr. Anderson what George S. Kaufman did for you.
That's a very persuasive argument, Myra. How does it grab you?
Wow. I suddenly feel as if I'm on the spot.
Oh, well, you are. Myra has put you there. Put us both there, actually.
I just thought something should be said before anything was done.
Yes, no, you were quite right, quite right. What do you say, Clifford?
First of all, I'm overwhelmed. Really honored and staggered that Sidney Brule would even consider the idea of putting aside one of his own plays to work with me on mine. I mean, there I was sitting in that theater when I was 12 years old. And who would think that someday I'd be standing here, weighing the chance
Yes,
to work.
yes, we get the gist of this passage.
It's a golden opportunity that I'm sure I have to seize with both hands.
Yes, you should.
But the thing is, it's as if I went to a doctor, one of the world's leading specialists, and he recommended surgery. Even with my respect for his eminence and his experience, well, I'd still want to get a second opinion, wouldn't I? But I'm sure your ideas are terrific. But you're right, Mrs. Brule. It wouldn't be fair for me to hear them now without some sort of an understanding or arrangement. And to be perfectly honest, right now, without having heard them, well, I feel that Death Trap is very good as it is. Not perfect, certainly. I'm sure it could still use a little fine-tuning. I'm not sure it needs surgery. What I ought to do, I think, is Xerox a few copies tomorrow morning. Send them off to some of those agents you recommended to us. Well, if they say, too, that it needs major rewriting, then I'll be coming back here, begging you to do what Mrs. Brule suggested. And I'll be willing to make whatever agreement you think is right. The same one you have with Mr. Kaufman, I guess. I hope I haven't offended you.
Oh, no, not at all.
Mr. Anderson, agents know about contracts. They don't know anything
Don't,
about...
Myra. Don't beg him. He'll think he has the wealth of the Indies here and that you and I are Mr. and Mrs. Jean Lafitte.
I'd never think anything like that, Mr. Brule. Look, I'm grateful that you're willing to go out of your way to help me.
But I'm not, actually. And now that I've had a moment to consider the matter, I would never put aside a play as timely and as relevant and inventive as The Drowning Wife to do wet nurse work on one as speculative as Death Trap. Sit down, Myra. Standing there hyperventilating, you're making me nervous. No, you do as you said, and you show it to a few agents, and if you do believe that major rewrites are in order, well, then get in touch. Who knows, I might hit a snag.
Thank you, I will.
Yeah, although I doubt I shall. My play is already completely outlined, and I have it halfway done. And I have another play lined up right behind that. A new play based on the life of Harry Houdini.
Oh.
Yes, magic is very in now. Look at the success of the magic show. And Houdini has always been an idol of mine. In fact, these are a pair of his handcuffs.
Sidney!
Oh, relax, darling. Clifford isn't the sort of person who would steal someone else's idea. You wouldn't do that, would you?
Of course not.
See, there's nothing to worry about. His heart is far from fraud as heaven is from earth. A remarkable man, Houdini. He made all of his own magical apparatus. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yes, magnificent craftsmanship. Here, have a look.
Sidney, please.
Sit down, Myra.
Don't. For God's sake, I beg you, think.
You need to relax and sit down. He is an honest young man. Now stop being so all-fired suspicious about everyone who comes through that door. We had an incident a few years back with a plagiaristic playwright whose name I won't mention because he's gone on to meet his maker, recalled for repairs, as it were. Ever since then, Myra has gotten suspicious if I so much as tell a fellow writer the language I'm writing in. Oh, please don't take offense. You know, I have a good look at those. They're truly remarkable.
They look so old.
Well, they were intended to, and apparently escape-proof and solid.
They certainly seem that way.
Yes. Be my guest.
You mean put them on?
Yes. When you're sitting there holding my $1,200 Houdini handcuffs, and I say, be my guest, that's what I mean. Put them on.
$1,200.
Very good. Right in there. Yes. Now, what you do is you turn your wrists like this and you press and pull. No, you didn't do it right. You have to do it all at the same time. Turn, press, pull.
No, they're not open.
Huh. Well, they did for me yesterday morning. It's not a question of their not having been oiled.
I guess I'm just not Houdini.
Oh, never mind. I have the key here somewhere. Oh, now don't go on fussing with them. You're liable to ruin them.
Sorry.
Key. Where are you? Little brass key.
Do you know this could be a good thriller? Well, it could, I mean it.
How so?
Well, a young playwright sends his first play to an older playwright who conducted a seminar that the young playwright attended. Nobody else has read it. And then he goes to visit the older playwright to get some ideas for rewrites, and well, he brings along the original and all his notes and everything. Well, of course, you'd have to have the Xerox breaking down to explain why there are only 2 copies. And the play would have to be a very good one. The one the young playwright wrote, I mean. Well, and the older playwright would have to have nothing much going for him at the time.
Sounds like an enormous concertination of unlikely circumstances, don't you think?
Yes, maybe. But we've almost got it here, haven't we? I mean, the only difference is that you've got the drowning wife in the Houdini play. And, well, Death Trap probably isn't worth killing for. I bet nobody even saw me getting into your car.
Well, there you have it. You solved your next play problem.
I think it could be turned into something fairly interesting. What do you think, Mrs. Brule?
I don't like it. It frightens me.
I wonder if I could have put the keys up here somewhere.
I forgot to mention, I should be getting a phone call any minute now. Well, there's a girl coming to see me at 8:30. That's about what time it is now, isn't it? And I couldn't reach her before I left, so I left a note on the hall mirror telling her where I am and giving the number so that she can call and find out what train I'll be taking back. Well, so she can pick me up at the station. 1 2-hour walk per day is just about enough for me. So I hope you find the key soon, or else you're gonna have to hold the phone for me.
How is she going to get in to read the note?
Well, she has a key.
Well, you're not a very conscientious house sitter, are you?
She's honest.
And I thought in the car you told me that you don't know anyone in Milford except for a few tradespeople.
She's from Hartford. Her name's Marietta Klinowski, and she teaches at Quirk Middle School, phys ed.
Where did you get the phone number? Our number is not listed.
Well, they gave it to me at the university, along with your address. Well, I'm friendly with the Mrs. Beecham there.
Beecham?
The short, red-haired lady with the eye shade?
Well, I hope she gave you the correct phone number. A few weeks ago I had it changed. We had an obscene caller who was boring us, and I didn't notify old U of Con. What number did she give you that you gave to Ms. Klinowski?
I don't remember it.
Oh, well, was it 226-3049 or 226-5457?
The first one, 3049.
The new number? Huh. I must have notified the university and clean forgot all about it. How strange and untypical of me.
Would you go on looking for the key, please?
Oh, yes, certainly.
My heart won't take this!
Take what, darling? My finding the key? Why, I believe the two of you thought I was going to grab the mace there and do a Dr. Mannheim. Clifford, is that why you've withdrawn so far upstage?
Look, you can't write a play like that and will not have a mind that envisions possibilities.
Yes, true. I'm slightly paranoid myself. What's your excuse, oh loyal and trusting wife? 11 years of marriage and she thinks I'm capable of flesh and blood murder. There's a lesson for you in that, Clifford. Here, come uncuff yourself. No, Death Trap is promising, but it's not that promising.